when we scan the market for development opportunities from a marketing perspective, we always try and keep our marketing philosophy similar. So we look for areas that are high growth, high density, and in areas that we see long-term growth and longevity. So because we are behind the marketing and needing to basically advise investors in buying assets that are going to appreciate in the long term and give them sufficient income, we view Salt River as an area that has a lot of longevity because there's a lot of big corporates coming to the area. We find that historically people decided to live in an area like Salt River because of affordability, but now in fact we see Salt River as viewed by the public as a desirable residential area to live, and that's mostly through a lot of commerce that has come to the area. We've seen corporates like 2U, which is an American edutech business, have taken a view on that area. They've got their headquarters there. We've got big developers like Swish who have come to the area and developed quite a bit. So we're seeing a lot of activity from a development front, from a commerce perspective, and the area itself is a very nice residential area as a standalone. So because of its proximity to various educational institutions, like, for example, your AFTRS and your Woodstock Audio College, you got your red and yellows in that area. So there's just so much in a very dense part of Cape Town. And obviously with that expansion across all sort of avenues, you have a big uptick in demand for good quality rentals and sales. So young professionals look to come into the area to buy their first property to live. And because Salt River is still fairly affordable, they're able to do so through a new development. And for those looking to study or work in a very central location, Salt River ticks the box. So that's essentially why we as a company have decided to take a very positive overview and glance at the area. And I think for the foreseeable future, we're going to be having quite a few developments go up there. So I think, over the years, not just apartment, but property, because of the costs of building and the acquisition costs, many years ago, property was fairly affordable. So the design around wasted space and inefficient spaces weren't really a sort of cornerstone to design and curating products, because you were able to build for a lot less and you were buying for cheaper. So a couple dead spaces here and there didn't have a large impact in the overall price of the rental and the sale of the purchase thereof. So I think what's happened in the last couple of years is that building costs have escalated tremendously. And we're also sitting with the situation where, especially in Cape Town, the Western Cape, you've got very expensive land and properties that you develop on. So in essence, you need to really make sure that the space that you've got, you're using as best as you can, because you want to create slightly smaller spaces that are more efficient, but the end result needs to be more affordable to the market. And that's how you discover a whole new market that wouldn't be able to purchase or rent in a certain area, but now you're able to unlock that big benefit to people. So I think in time, draftsmen, architects, and developers have all worked together to finding better spaces, and understanding that, for example, a bachelor flat is smaller generally than your one-bedroom apartment, but it has the same utility. Still two people that can share it, both your studio and your one-bedroom. So that, for example, is a key progression in the sort of more efficient, smarter design space. And we're seeing that now. I mean, we've got projects that we've launched that the apartments are as small as 17 square meters. And people think, well, you probably can't swing a cat in there. But the reality is that you can. We've got 2 or 3 built sort of case studies already that we go to. One of our architects who's on a very recent project in Salt River is also building 17 square meter units for us in Woodstock. And walking through that space, you actually can't believe how much utility you get out of such a small space. So I think there are several ways that architects and draftsmen and developers are really curating these spaces to make you not feel very isolated and very claustrophobic in these spaces. They're well managed and they offer everything what, for example, a one bedroom would be able to offer you in terms of utility. So that's really sort of uncovering a whole new market, because at the end of the day, the smaller the space generally, the more affordable the price is. So we're unlocking spaces through efficiency, but we're unlocking new markets for people. So the spectrum development is a very sort of new concept to the area in terms of what we're looking to achieve. We created the spaces around what our market would be. So both from the typical renter and who the person that would buy an apartment to become an owner-occupier. So we created spaces that flowed well. We created spaces that connected well. And if you look at the building holistically, you've got a swimming pool and deck area on the 4th floor overlooking the mountain. So it's got like sprawling views of the mountain. This is an area that people can experience a bit of sort of downtime, enjoy Cape Town for what it is, because from that deck, you can see the ocean, you can see the mountains, you see the city. And this is generally a amenity that you wouldn't really find in a sort of Woodstock Salt River development. So we there again are attracting the people that are slightly more lifestyle orientated, that would be buying another area for that similar experience. We're bringing them to Salt River. So again, to actually go back to your previous question, we created smaller spaces, but we have not compromised on any quality. So somebody that would be buying a bigger apartment in another building, we're not compromising on quality. We've just created a more efficient space. So one of the big key features in the building is that we've got a swimming pool with a deck with sprawling views throughout of Cape Town. Another really nice space we've got is co-working. So we've got a lounge and working facility within the building. This allows for those tenants and owner-occupiers to be able to work outside the confinements of their apartment. If they want to feel more at the office and they work from home and they want to sit next to somebody, we've got that accessibility for them. We have designed the space very freely and openly, so what you would find in like a digital creative agency. So that sort of look and feel. So that's quite a big perk for the building. Again, at the ground floor, we've got a beautiful coffee shop that will activate the whole building. So that's founded on the ground floor. They will be selling great coffees and some pastries and a basic sandwich. So you don't actually need to leave the building at all to be able to grab a small bite to eat. Another big benefit to the building is that we are very much like activists for exercise. And a lot of people may find that they want to exercise in the building. So we created a nice exercise space for them. We will have a couple of equipment there for them, but it's a place that they can do some yoga in, they can do meditation, they can do stretching, they can do a workout. This is a space that we've catered for the whole building. And then we've got small perks that really haven't been discovered in the market really in this segment. So we've got like EV, electronic vehicle parking bays. That's something new to the market. A lot of people say, well, you know, we're not quite there yet. Cape Town specifically isn't quite there yet. And I actually beg to differ, because, you know, we've got a couple of these bays and we've sold a third of them already. So there are people that see value in it. There are people that have made lifestyle adjustments and choices towards moving towards the EV space. So that's something we've really discovered that there's actually demand for. So that will be present in the building. It's a building that, if you look at most of the new developments in Cape Town, you've got all of these big development high-rises going up and very little to no parking. So the one, in my opinion, which formerly never used to be a perk, is now becoming a perk through scarcity, is we've got over 100 parking bays in this development. So we can cater for those owner-occupiers that are still sharing one vehicle between two people. We've got a secure parking bay for you. So that's something that a lot of people immediately thought when we launched the development there was no parking. We've got a lot of parking. And there again, the developers could have profiteered off that and converted that into apartments, but have decided to say, we don't really need all this space to profiteer off apartments. What we can do is be able to connect parking bays to allow people to park within the building. So that again is a very big plus. Other than the development itself, we've still got like another, in my opinion, it's actually not a small benefit, especially with where load shedding is going to. We've got backup power for the building. So big question people asked as we launched, I guess you guys are doing nothing about the fact that we have load shedding twice and 3 times a day because it's just too expensive to implement. But the reality is we do. We've got backup generators for the building. They will run your essential circuit. And what we mean by essential circuit is to run your lights, to run some of the plugs. So you can work throughout the evening with light and Wi-Fi and charging your laptop. It won't allow you to do heavy duty cooking. But what we've done is we've seen to the essential side of living. And what's important for people that are working from home is having access to fast, high-speed internet throughout the day and in the confinements of their home. So that's something we've really looked at discovering. And then I think a big benefit to this building that sits outside of the building is we've got a park that abuts on the one side of the building. So, a lot of these developments around Cape Town say they're pet friendly and they're allowed within their rules. But in essence, you want your pet, whether it's a cat or a small dog, you want them to be able to go to the bathroom or have a walk in immediate proximity to the building. So, the fact that we are 10 meters away from a park allows an owner of an apartment or a tenant to say, I actually can have a small pet because the park next door accommodates for that. So these are all things that I think overall makes this product so great. So we've got 306 units. The majority of the makeup of these are studios. I would say that the second sort of prominent apartment type in the development are our 2-beds, and then followed by our micro apartments and 1-bedroom apartments being our newest. We've got over 100 parking bays in the development. We've got more than 20 storage units that are also up for sale. Yeah. And then also above that, we've got our furniture packs that prospective buyers can purchase in order to move into a fully furnished apartment or buy an apartment and then rent it out fully furnished. So we've already started the sales process. We have, in the month that we've been marketing, we've already sold over 110 apartments already. So apartments are moving quite quickly. We will commence with construction in the first quarter of next year. So around March, April time, we're looking at roughly an 18-month construction period, with handovers to the latter of 2024 and early 25. So I think as a brand, we've always been at the forefront of capturing the millennial market. Being young owners of the business, we understand the mindset and the mentality of somebody that is a millennial looking to either rent or buy. So we've always curated our products and the ancillary services to the development to cater for this market. A big sort of anchor towards our brand where we capture the millennial market is around educating buyers for the first time. So first time buyers looking to invest or buy a property to live in, we give a whole sort of training and educational setup for a purchase, and this we offer free of charge. It's really that we enable people to understand what goes into buying property, because for a lot of people, owning property is and will be their biggest asset on their balance sheet. So quite an important journey for somebody, and especially if they don't understand, that's normally a stumbling block or a challenge of why they don't get into the market. So making people understand, educating the market has always been something that we strive off. I'd say secondary to that is the way that we market and the way that we engage with the market. We're quite a tech-enabled business, so all of our communication, our marketing filters and flows through tech. So we always communicate with the market from a digital point of view. That's how they like to read and communicate with prospective property developers, so and agencies. So that's why I think we've also been quite a prominent brand in that space. And then lastly, I think, because we are a sort of a fast-growing business, we're always looking at advancing our brand in a market, and we do like that young millennial market, merely because we start with millennials as renters in our property asset management business. So we look after a lot of tenants, and we really merely take them through quite an extensive journey from becoming a tenant to a property owner eventually. So that's also our third pull, that we convert a lot of people that rent to buy.